yo chavanta kasavasa silesu susamahito upeto damasachena save kasavam arahati. So this verse 10 is clearly the twin and actually the opposite of verse 9. There is an issue in this one, and it was a big stumbling block for me. I'm not going to deny that. If we look at Vanta Kasavasa, now the way it appeared to me at first, it looked like it was Vanta and Kasava, and it looked like Kasava was in the genitive or dative case. But if you pursue that, you'll find that it just doesn't make any sense. And I started to look up, like, well, maybe the genitive has some strange meaning that I'm not aware of, but it's usually just a simpler answer than that. And what happened, I looked in this particular printing of the Dhammapada, and it looked like they made one little change, and they made it look like this. This apostrophe tells us that this last part is a different word here. And then it all falls into place, because this is not a genitive ending. This asa is the third person singular optative or conditional form of the verb to be from the root us. The third person singular active, we might say indicative, we're familiar with as ati. So knowing that, we can proceed to talk about the entire verse. So just like before, we have a lot of words that are appositions or in apposition. They're marked in green here. The main clause would be sa ve kasavam arahati. Now, in the previous verse, it was so. So and sa have the same meaning. We might wonder, well, why is one chosen over the other? I would imagine metric concerns. I didn't go through, I'm not good at meters in Pali at all, but I would imagine that's the reason. Or just simply the way it sounds. I mean, this is poetry. But sa and so have the very same meaning. He, they, indeed, and they is what the Pali English Dictionary calls a particle of affirmation, and it emphasizes the preceding word. So he truly, he indeed, and just like before, is worthy of the yellow robe. And then he who, yo, and then if we do it in this order, you'll notice that there's a little word that we should have put in first, cha. This cha is, I believe, an adversative cha, but. So this would really belong at the beginning when, if we're going to say he indeed is worthy of the yellow robe, we should say, but he is truly worthy of the yellow robe, who, this is the yo here. And then we come to this vanta kasavasa. So the one who, he who, and for asa, since it's the conditional, which, by the way, De Roysel lists as part of the future system of the verb, if you're looking that up. So here, we could say the one who would, and we might say provisionally would be, vanta kasavo. And vanta literally means to vomit. Then figuratively, it means to give up, leave behind. Kasava, we know as fault, could be faults. So the one who would be in a state of leaving faults behind. And we might make that a little smoother and say something like the one who would leave all faults behind. We can get the optative sense that way. Now the rest of this, it pretty much flows just like before. Silesu susamahito. Susamahito is actually su and samahito. Su is well. We've talked about that before, and we've mentioned how in Greek it's epsilon, upsilon. You'll see it in those words like Eucharist, euthanasia, euphemism. Samahito is settled, composed, firm. So altogether, well-grounded. And then we have this locative plural, silesu, well-grounded in the virtues. Upeto, furnished with, endowed with, possessed of. And just like before, this is a Devanda compound, Dhammasacena, possessed of self-control and truth. And when we put this all together, we might do something like this. But he who would have left all fault behind is well-grounded in the virtues, is possessed of truth and self-control, is indeed worthy of the yellow robe.